So today we are going to study about the Harappa civilization, the trade, its art and craft, and the decline of the civilization. Talking about the trade, we know that the presence of granaries were storehouses of food grains where the surplus food grains were kept to be sent off to far off places to indulge in trade. Then seals, what were seals used for? They were used for stamping of goods to be sent to different parts to indulge in trade. A uniform script, which was same in the entire civilization, was present, and standardized weights and measures. The presence of this suggests that they were having a well-developed system of trade. Now, what do we know about the Harappan trade? That there was both external and internal trade happening. Internal trade is the trade which is happening within the civilization, between different cities, exchange of commodities happening. External trade is the one that they are having with far off locations, with far off civilizations, like with the Mesopotamian civilization, with Central Asia, via the sea route and different ways. They are indulging in trade with far off civilizations and far off places. So we know that there is external and internal trade happening. The Harappans, they carried out trade in stone, metal, shell, etc. Another important thing that we know is that trade was done through the barter system. Now, what is this barter system? Barter system is one where the exchange of commodities is happening. That is to say, there's no money system prevalent. They're not buying off any commodity. They are taking one commodity and giving another commodity in return. So this exchange of commodities is known as the barter system. Suppose one particular region wants the import of rice. So in exchange, it would not be giving money, but rather some other commodity, say shells or maybe cotton or something like that. So exchange of commodities is happening. That is the barter system. Now, how do we come to know that the Harappans were having trade with the Mesopotamian civilization? The Mesopotamian records, they go on to mention that they had trade relations with Meluha region. Meluha is referred to as the Indus Valley region. So that confirms that they had trade with the Harappa civilization. Then also Mesopotamian texts refer to two trading stations, Dilmun and Markan, which lie between Mesopotamia and Indus Valley civilization, which further confirm that through these trading stations, trade was being carried on between Indus Valley civilization and the Mesopotamian civilization. Then there are some examples given of internal and external trade in your book. You have to learn some examples like rice was exported from Gujarat to Punjab. Lothal was the center of manufacturing of beads. Chanhu was the center of bangle making. As for the external trade, gold was imported from Afghanistan, copper was coming from Balochistan, and so on. So you have to learn certain examples as well, and these are the main features of the trade. Moving on to next, talking about the weights and measures, we know that a standardized system of weights and measures were used. Same standard unit was used throughout the civilization. A large number of stone weights have been found. So these weights and measures, they were made of stone. They were cubical in shape, sets of cubical stone weights. The basic unit was 16. That is how they were standardized. For larger weights, they were in the multiples of 16, 32 and so on. The smaller ones, they were in the fractions of 16, 8, 4 and so on. So this indicate a proper system of trade was in existence. Talking about transport, what mode of transport was in existence? We come to know, we have studied that a dockyard was found at Lothal in Gujarat. So that is a place where ships are being repaired and built and all. So that suggests that ships were perhaps in use. Also, terracotta models of ships have been found, which confirm that ships were being used for, traveling to far off places via the sea route. So this external trade was mostly carried out through these ships. Then also these terracotta models of bullock carts have been found. We have also studied how the streets were rounded at the corners so that the bullock carts can pass easily. Terracotta models of carts further confirm that there were bullock carts in existence which were being used for inland traveling from one city to another for the purpose of internal trade and all. Boats also were used to carry goods and all. So this confirms the terracotta models of ships, carts and boats found that these were the major modes of the transport. So you can have a good look at the picture of the Harappan weights. You can see these are of stone in cubical in shape. And then the terracotta model of cart. These are the kind of bullock carts that were in use. Talking next about the art and craft. We already know that Harappans were very skilled craftsmen. We have seen their how highly skilled their architectural skills have already been seen in the such great structures like the Great Bath, the granaries, and all. Their well developed drainage system, their town planning. We have seen how skilled and how good engineering skills they had. When it comes to particular art and craft that they indulged in, one, we know that they were great sculptors. The great sculpture, the bronze sculpture of the dancing girl, the stone sculpture of the bearded man that we have studied in the sources in detail. We already know that they were great sculptors. Besides that, we have found figurines of clay, of terracottas and all, just like we saw the terracotta model of the cart and ships and all. So this again reflects how skilled craftsmen they were. Seals and beads have been found. Again on seals we saw inscriptions of animals, script being formed, and that Pashupati seal, that all reflects their artistic skills. What other forms of art existed? Weaving, boat making, bead making, seal making, these are all important crafts. They were goldsmiths. Jewelry was being made as ornaments were worn by both men and women. So we see that jewelry made of silver, gold, precious stones. Another form of art was the pottery making. Now you might also get a separate question on what kind of pottery was being made by the Harappan people. Harappan pottery, the pottery was usually glossy and it was shining. It was made on this potter's wheel. It was decorated with black geometrical designs. And then we see that there were, different kinds of pottery made, large jars with having narrow necks and all. So this all reflects their artistic skills. Have a look at their pottery. You can see these black geometric designs, these different shapes of the jars, glossy and shining that it is. It is all reflecting their artistic skills. Talking about the sculpture, we've already studied that Harappans were great sculptors as seen in their dancing girl and the bearded man, which reflect their sculpture skills, that they were great sculptors. A number of terracotta figurines of animals have been found, models of carts have been found. Now how this sculpture in metal was done? The sculpture in metal was done through this lost wax process. Now how did this process work? They would, make a model with the help of wax. Suppose they have to make this bearded man, they will make a model of it with using wax. Then they would give it a covering of clay. With the hard clay, they will give it a covering and then dry it, and then later on they will heat it. So the wax inside would melt and the covering of clay would remain. The hollow part would then be filled with the molten metal. When it will cool down and take the shape of the model that is being made, then eventually they'll break the clay and the metal will stay intact, giving it shape and leading to the formation of the particular sculpture. So that is how the lost wax process was used for making metal sculptures. Now talking about the ornaments, what kind of ornaments were worn by the Harappan people? We see that both men and women, they both wore ornaments. What kind of ornaments? Necklaces, bangles, anklets, rings, headdresses, headgears. So all these kind of jewelry was being worn by the Harappan people. Now these jewelry were made of silver, gold, ivory and different precious stones. You can have a look at the kind of jewelry. This was worn both by men and women. Talking about the dress, what kind of cloth were worn by the Harappan people? We see that men used to wear dhoti and shawl was used as an upper garment. Now again, if you remember the bearded man, where the description said that the shawl was wrapped around his left shoulder. So this shawl was worn by the men to cover the upper part of the body. Women, they used to wear skirts and they used cloaks to cover their arms and shoulders. Also needles and buttons have been found, which suggests that maybe some form of this stitched cloths were also being used. Now what did they do for their entertainment, recreational purposes? How did they pass their time? They played games like dice, modern day Ludo like you people might be playing. So they played games like dice, and there were other forms of entertainment. They indulged in hunting and fishing. They used musical instruments like drum and lyre. Then toys have been found of birds, animals, figurines. carts and vessels which must have been used by the Harappan kids. So now we are going to study about the causes which led to the decline of the Harappan civilization. The Harappa civilization, it declined around 1800 BCE, before Common Era. What were the causes? There are many reasons cited that could have probably led to the decline of this civilization. The first is the floods and the earthquakes. So we see that there are some scholars who suggest that flooding in Mohenjo-daro led to the abandonment of the settlement. So we see that since these were river valley civilization, they settled along the river. So there was always a threat of flooding happening. So that is why we also saw that the citadel was constructed on a raised platform to protect it from floods. So there was always a threat or danger of flooding happening. So one of the reasons cited is probably the flooding of the Mohenjo-daro led to the decline of the civilization. Then there is this hydrologist R.L. Rikes, who says that flooding was a very common phenomena happening every now and then. So it could not have led to the entire wiping out of the entire civilization, but an earthquake which could have led to the shifting of the tectonic plates and raise the level of the floodplains. Then after that, the flooding could have led to the decline of the civilization. So it was an earthquake which led to an flooding, which eventually led to the wiping out of the entire civilization. Then the another reason stated for the decline of the civilization is increased aridity or dryness. So historians like T.P. Agarwal, they believe that the increasing aridity and the drying up of the river Ghaggar could have led to the decline of the civilization. So one theory is stating that it was probably due to the flooding, an earthquake which could have further led to flooding and the decline. The other theory says it was perhaps due to extreme dryness and the drying up of the river Ghaggar that could have led to the decline of the civilization. Another cause cited is deforestation. We know that Harappa civilization was a Bronze Age civilization. Now to make bronze, which is an alloy, it required mixing of two metals. So obviously that required heating. A lot of wood was required at that time. Then wood was also required for different purposes like making jewelry and making boat making, carts for making the carts that were in use at that time. So this could have required large quantities of wood, which eventually led to large-scale deforestation. And as we are aware, deforestation leads to climatic changes, which could have brought about this decline of the entire civilization. Another theory that says is the perhaps attack theory, that historians like Mortimer Wheeler believe that it were the invading Aryans. The Aryans, they invaded this entire civilization. There was massacring of the people, and eventually they destroyed the entire civilization, killing everyone, and they settled down here. So it was perhaps the attack by the invading Aryans that brought about the decline of the civilization. Now this has been said on the basis that skeletons of men and women, around 13 skeletons of men, women and children were found in a house. So that suggests there was some form of massacring that happened. So it was perhaps due to the attack by the invading Aryans that brought about the decline of this civilization. So these are the 4 causes you need to know in detail as well. How did these causes lead to the decline of the civilization? Now we see that Harappa civilization, some of its features that were prevalent at those days are even relevant today and have continued even till today. That is how this civilization serves as our greatest heritage. Its decline did not lead it to its total disappearance. Some of its features, they were adopted by the later civilizations and they have continued till today. Like we see the Harappan way of making baked pottery. That kind of pottery is even made till today. The bricks, the beads, jewelry, textiles, these were all adopted by the later civilizations. The cotton cultivation, that was adopted by the Egyptians. Then in the religious sphere, we see the worship of Pashupati Shiva, Lord Shiva, who is even worshipped today, and the mother goddess, animals, etc. They were all adopted by late Hinduism, and these features have continued till today. So in that way, the Harappa civilization remains our greatest heritage, whose features have continued even till today. So that marks the end of this chapter, Harappa civilization. Prepare well and practice more and more questions to have a clear understanding of the chapter. Thank you.